Tonight I want to take you into the very core of creation. Not the outer world you see with your eyes, but the inner world you carry within. For everything you have ever touched, tasted or experienced began not in matter but in imagination. Birthed in feeling, clothed in belief and expressed outwardly as reality. The secret is simple, yet so few dare to practice it. You must feel it before it is seen. You must dwell in the state of the wish fulfilled long before the evidence arrives. I will teach you tonight how to feel it, how to walk in the unseen until it hardens into fact, how to so fully embody the unseen reality that the world has no choice but to conform. Let us begin. Step 1. The inner. The inner world is the real world. Friends, listen carefully, for this is where everything begins. The world you see with your eyes, the world of facts, numbers, circumstances, and conditions, that world is not the cause. It is only the effect. It is not the source of power, but the reflection of power. The real world, the true source of creation, is invisible. It lives within you. Everything you call reality is but an echo of what you have already imagined and felt. The outer world is the mirror. The inner world is the face. You cannot change the mirror by scratching at the glass. You must change the face that stands before it. That face is your inner assumption, your inner feeling, your conception of yourself. If you are dissatisfied with life, it is not life that must be corrected. It is the image you hold within, the silent conversations you replay, the feelings you nurture in secret. For what you accept as true within will clothe itself without. The outer life has no choice but to reflect it. Now I know many of you have been taught the opposite. You have been told that the outer world is solid, unchangeable, permanent, and that you are merely a victim of circumstances. You have been told that if you want change, you must fight, struggle, hustle, and push against what already exists. But let me tell you the truth. The moment you fight the shadow, you waste your energy. Shadows are powerless without light. The power is not in the shadow, but in the source that casts it. Your mind, your imagination, your inner world, that is the source. Look at your life right now. The job you have, the relationships you keep, the money in your account, the body you wear. These are not accidents, they are mirrors. They are the outpictured evidence of what you have accepted inwardly, whether by choice or by neglect. Your outer world is your inner world pushed out. This is not philosophy, this is law. Think for a moment of a seed. When you plant it in soil, you may look at the dirt and see nothing, but within that hidden seed lies the pattern of the tree, the branches, the fruit, even the shade it will cast years from now. The soil does not question, the soil does not resist it. The soil simply brings forth what is planted. Your mind is the soil, your feeling is the seed. If you plant worry, you cannot reap peace. If you plant lack, you cannot reap abundance. If you plant doubt, you cannot reap confidence. The soil does not discriminate, it only produces after its kind. So I ask you, what are you planting in the inner world? What thoughts do you allow to run freely in your mind? What feelings do you feed when you are alone? These are the seeds of tomorrow's reality. Now I want to make something very clear. The outer world may look more real to you right now. It may shout at you, demand your attention, convince you of its permanence. But it is not permanent. It is clay in your hands. It is wax under the fire of your imagination. It will bend. It will shift. It will rearrange itself when you dare to assume a new inner state and feel it as true. I remember once a man came to me in despair. His outer world was full of failure. His business was collapsing. His family had turned against him. And everywhere he looked, he saw defeat. He asked me, what can I do? The facts are all against me. And I told him, stop bowing to facts. Stop worshipping shadows. Withdraw your attention from the world as it is and turn inward. Imagine the world as you wish it to be. Feel yourself successful, loved, secure. For the inner world is the real world. The facts you fear are only yesterday's imaginations, hardened into form. They have no power except the power you continue to give them. Within a matter of months, his entire life changed. Why? Not because he fought the outer facts, but because he changed the inner cause. He planted new seeds in the soil of imagination, and the soil faithfully brought them forth. So tonight I say to you, take your eyes off the shadow. Take your mind off appearances. Appearances deceive. What you see with your physical eyes is always the result of a past assumption. It is not the truth of now. It is not final. It is a snapshot of what you once felt and believed. If you do not like it, you are free to change it. But the change must begin within. You are not a victim of conditions. You are the creator of conditions. You are not trapped by circumstances. You are the source of circumstances. The inner world is the workshop, where the outer world is shaped. Do you want to be wealthy? Then stop affirming poverty in your heart. Feel yourself rich now. Do you want to be loved? Then stop rehearsing loneliness in your imagination. Feel yourself embraced now. Do you want to be healed? Then stop bowing to the evidence of sickness. Feel yourself whole now. Some of you may ask, but how can I feel it when everything around me screams the opposite? And I say, that is exactly the test. That is the discipline. The inner world demands faith, not sight. To feel the unseen reality is to declare your freedom from appearance. It is to live by a higher law than the law of facts. The world calls it foolishness. They will laugh. They will mock. They will tell you to be realistic. But tell me, what is realistic? Is it realistic to live chained to circumstances you dislike? Is it realistic to believe the outer world is master over you? Or is it realistic to believe that the same creative power that formed the universe dwells within you, waiting to be felt, waiting to be claimed? I tell you, the only realism worth embracing is the reality of your inner world. That is the true world. That is the cause. So from this moment forward, become the guardian of your inner world. Watch the seeds you plant. Refuse to water the weeds of doubt and fear. Feed only the feelings you want to see expressed. For the world outside cannot resist the command of the world within. The inner world is the real world. Hold to this truth, and no fact, no condition, no circumstance will ever have power over you again. 2. Enter the state before sleep. My friends, if there is one moment in your day that carries unimaginable power, it is the moment just before you fall asleep. That fragile, quiet interval where the noise of the outer world fades and the doorway to your inner world swings wide open. Most people treat sleep as nothing more than rest for the body. They close their eyes exhausted, carrying the burdens, the frustrations, the worries of the day straight into unconsciousness. They fall asleep rehearsing their problems and then wonder why those same problems meet them again tomorrow. But I tell you this, sleep is not just rest, it is creation. Sleep is the place where your conscious mind hands the torch to the subconscious, where seeds of imagination are pressed into fertile soil, where the unseen world writes tomorrow's script. And what you feel and accept as true in those final moments before sleep will echo into your waking life with astonishing accuracy. So let us learn tonight the sacred art of entering the state before sleep, the gateway between worlds. As you drift towards sleep, something extraordinary happens. Your conscious defenses soften, your reasoning mind grows quiet, and the door to your subconscious swings open. This state, half waking, half dreaming, is the gateway between worlds. Here, the imagination is most impressionable. Here, the feelings you nurture are not questioned, not resisted, but accepted as commands. It is like handing a letter to a faithful servant. Once given, he will carry it out with perfect obedience. Your subconscious is that servant, and in the drowsy state, it receives the letter of your feeling without question. If you go to bed rehearsing lack, your subconscious carries that letter into tomorrow. If you go to bed imagining rejection, it carries that letter into tomorrow. But if you dare to enter sleep clothed in the feeling of your desire fulfilled, your subconscious receives that letter too, and the world will bend itself to deliver the message. Turning away from the day. The first discipline in this practice is to turn away from the events of the day. Whether good or bad, you must release them. The past is finished. The facts are spent. If you carry them into sleep, you are simply renewing them for another day. So before you close your eyes, deliberately drop the burden of the day. Say to yourself, this day is over. Its record is sealed. Now I choose anew. This act alone frees you from being chained to yesterday's facts. Choosing your scene. Now comes the creative act. What do you wish were true? What do you long to experience? Take that desire and condense it into a single vivid scene that implies its fulfillment. If you long for wealth, perhaps the scene is holding a bank statement showing abundance. If you long for love, perhaps the scene is feeling the warm embrace of your partner. If you long for health, perhaps the scene is walking freely, full of strength. Do not make the scene complicated. Simplicity is power. One short, vivid moment that implies the fullness of your desire is enough. Entering the scene with feeling. Once you have chosen the scene, close your eyes and let your body relax as though already asleep. Then, in imagination, step into the scene. Do not watch it as a movie, live inside it. Feel it real. Touch it. Hear it. Breathe it. And most importantly, feel the emotion of already having it. If your scene is abundance, feel the relief, the gratitude, the joy of knowing you are secure. If your scene is love, feel the warmth, the closeness, the contentment of being cherished. If your scene is health, feel the lightness, the freedom, the vitality of being whole. The key is not to watch yourself from afar, but to feel yourself in it here and now, falling asleep in the feeling. Now here is the secret. Do not simply imagine it for a moment and then return to your worries. No, you must carry that feeling all the way into sleep. You must let the drowsy state absorb it. Let it sink deep into the subconscious. Let it be the last impression stamped upon your mind. Why? Because the subconscious does not argue. It does not distinguish between truth and falsehood. It only accepts what is felt as real. And when you fall asleep in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, the subconscious receives it as fact and sets in motion the unseen currents that will bring it into form. The power of repetition. You may say, but I tried it once and nothing happened. My friend, do you plant a seed one night and demand a tree the next morning? No, you plant, you water, you nurture, and in time, the harvest comes. So it is with the state before sleep. Repeat it nightly. Fall asleep again and again in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Let it become your final thought, your final feeling, your final breath, before surrendering to the depths of unconsciousness. Persistence is the law. Do it faithfully and you will be amazed how quickly life rearranges itself. A story of transformation. Let me share with you a story. A woman once told me her nights were filled with worry. She would lie awake fearing bills, loneliness and sickness. Each morning she woke with the same problems, only heavier. I told her, tonight when you lie down, choose a different ending. Do not drift into sleep, carrying your burden. Choose a single scene that implies freedom. Imagine you are walking into your bank, smiling, secure, or imagine you are being embraced by someone you love. Whatever implies your desire fulfilled, live it in feeling until it seems real. She did as I said. At first it felt strange, almost like pretending, but night after night, she persisted. Within weeks, unexpected money arrived. Within months, she had met someone who adored her. She told me, it was as if life rearranged itself while I slept. And I told her the truth. It did, because she entered the state before sleep with new feelings, and her subconscious carried them into her waking life. Why sleep matters more than daydreaming. You may wonder, why is sleep so important? Can I not just imagine during the day? Yes, you can, and you should. But the moments before sleep are uniquely powerful because your conscious mind is relaxed. Your inner defenses are down, and your subconscious is open like fertile soil. Seeds planted in that state go deeper, faster, and take root with greater strength than in waking hours. So while daydreaming is valuable, the state before sleep is the master key. If you use only one practice, let it be this, living as if already fulfilled. When you master this art, you will find that your mornings begin different. You will wake not with dread, but with quiet confidence. Because the feeling you carried into sleep lingers into waking. The world will begin to mirror it back, first in small ways, then in undeniable ways. And when you look back, you will see that the turning point was not in the outer world at all. It was in that secret hour, in the quiet darkness, when you chose to feel differently before sleep. So tonight I ask you, what will you carry into sleep? Will you carry the burdens of the day, or will you carry the seed of your desire fulfilled? Will you fall asleep rehearsing problems, or will you fall asleep living in the solution? Remember this truth. The state you fall asleep in is the state you will carry into your tomorrow. So do not neglect this holy moment. Guard it, use it, treasure it. Fall asleep tonight in the feeling of your wish fulfilled, and watch how quickly life obeys. 3. Assume the end, not the means. Friends, tonight I want to open your eyes to a law so simple, yet so powerful, that once you grasp it, you will never again struggle with how your desires come to pass. The law is this: always assume the end, never the means. Most of us, when we long for something, become trapped in the maze of how. How will it come? Who will bring it? When will it arrive? What steps must I take? We obsess, we worry, we try to calculate the path, and in doing so, we choke the very seed of creation. Life does not ask you to know the how. Life only asks you to claim the end. When a seed is planted in the ground, do you stand over it and demand to know how it will split, how the roots will push through, how the leaves will stretch toward the sun? No. You trust the law of growth. You rest in the assurance that the seed already contains the pattern of the tree. Your only role was to plant it. So it is with desire. The seed of your desire already contains its fulfillment. Your only task is to plant it in imagination and feel it real. The unfolding, the timing, the path, the invisible chain of events that belongs to life, that belongs to the deeper intelligence that governs all creation. Why the how distracts you. The moment you concern yourself with how, you have stepped out of faith and into doubt. You are like a man planting a seed, then digging it up every hour to see if it is growing. You disturb the soil, you destroy the process. You rob the seed of its chance to root. The how is none of your business. The how belongs to the unseen wisdom of life. If you trust, if you persist, if you feel the end as though it were already true, the how will take care of itself in ways you could never have predicted. I want you to hear this. The how is always bigger than your reasoning. The how belongs to infinite intelligence, and infinite intelligence is never limited to the small plans you imagine. Living in the end, so what must you do? Assume the end. Live in the end. Feel the end. If your desire is for wealth, do not torment yourself asking, will it come through this job, that investment, that person? No. Assume the end. Feel the freedom, the ease, the security of already being wealthy. If your desire is for love, do not ask, where will I meet them? How will they notice me? No. Assume the end. Feel the joy, the warmth, the fulfillment of already being loved. If your desire is for health, do not question, what doctor, what treatment, what cure? No. Assume the end. Feel the lightness, the strength, the vitality of already being whole. The end is your responsibility. The means are not. A living example. Let me give you an example. A man once told me he longed to move his family into a better home, but he could not imagine how he could ever afford it. His salary was fixed. His debts were heavy, and every calculation told him it was impossible. I said, stop calculating. Stop bowing to the facts. Facts are yesterday's creations. You are free to create anew. Forget the how. Assume the end. I asked him to imagine himself already living in that home, to walk through its rooms in imagination, to feel the carpet under his feet, the weight of the keys in his hand, the laughter of his family as they enjoyed their new life. Night after night, he persisted. Within months, unexpected opportunities opened. A promotion was offered. A debt was cancelled. A friend connected him with a property far below market value. The how unfolded in ways he could never have planned. But the end, already claimed in imagination, had to be expressed. The end contains the mean. The end pulls you forward. When you assume the end, you align yourself with its reality. Life begins to rearrange itself, not because you force it, but because you have shifted states. You no longer live in the state of longing, you live in the state of habit. And from that state, your actions change naturally. Your conversations shift. Your choices align. People are drawn to you, circumstances unfold. Opportunities appear. But it is not because you chase them, it is because the end pulls them to you. The end is magnetic. Why most people fail. Do you know why most people never manifest their desires? It is not because the law fails. The law never fails. It is because they spend all their time trying to manage the means. They imagine one moment, then doubt the next. They demand to know every step, every detail, every method. They live in uncertainty instead of certainty. But the masters of creation live differently. They assume the end and rest in it. They walk in it, talk in it, feel it, sleep in it, until the outer world has no choice but to conform. An exercise for you. So tonight I give you this exercise. Take one desire that matters to you, and strip away all the questions of how. Forget the paths, forget the people, forget the details. Go straight to the end. If it were true right now, how would you feel? What simple scene would imply its fulfillment? Take that scene into your imagination. Live it, feel it, repeat it, and most importantly, rest in it. You will discover that the burden of how lifts off your shoulder. You will walk lighter, freer, more confident, because you know the end is already yours. A higher intelligence at work. Friends, remember this. You are not alone in creation. There is a greater wisdom that governs all things, a wisdom that knows paths and connections you could never dream of. When you assume the end, you call upon that wisdom to orchestrate the means, and it will do so with a precision and beauty that will astonish you. All you must do is trust. All you must do is persist. All you must do is live in the end. So tonight, release the burden of how. Stop trying to control the steps. Stop trying to map the path. Assume the end. Feel the end. Live in the end. If you do this faithfully, the means will take care of themselves. Opportunities will appear. People will show up. Circumstances will align. The world will bend to your assumption. For the end contains the means. And when you claim the end as real, life itself will deliver the path. Pure feeling is the secret ingredient. My friends, listen with your heart tonight, for what I am about to share with you is the very heartbeat of creation. We have spoken of the inner world, we have spoken of imagination, we have spoken of living in the end, that none of these hold any power without one thing, feeling. Feeling is the secret ingredient. Feeling is the fire that gives life to the thought. Feeling is the invisible force that fuses the idea with reality. You may think that words alone will change your life. You may repeat affirmations until your voice grows hoarse. You may write down your goals 100 times, hoping they will somehow leap off the page. But if you do all this without feeling, you are pouring water into a basket. Nothing will hold. Nothing will take root. Why? Because words without feeling are empty. Thoughts without feeling are shadows. Imagination without feeling is lifeless. But the moment you clothe the idea in feeling, it becomes alive, electric, magnetic. It begins to stir the unseen world, to set in motion the chain of events that bring it into being, the bridge between unseen and seen. Feeling is the bridge between the unseen and the seen. Imagination is the seed, but feeling is the water that makes it grow. Thought is the blueprint, but feeling is the builder that raises it into form. You may imagine yourself wealthy, but if you feel poor, the world will mirror poverty. You may picture yourself loved, but if you feel lonely, the world will echo loneliness. You may declare yourself healthy, but if you feel weak, the world will reflect weakness. It is not the picture alone that matters. It is the emotion that saturates it. The subconscious responds to feeling. Understand this. Your subconscious does not respond to words. It does not respond to logic. It does not respond to empty rituals. It responds to feeling. You could say, I am wealthy 1,000 times a day. But if deep within you feel fear, worry, or lack, your subconscious accepts that feeling as the truth. On the other hand, you may whisper only once, I am wealthy, but if you say it with deep conviction, gratitude, and joy, your subconscious accepts that feeling and works tirelessly to make it fact. It is not the repetition of words that changes you, it is the intensity of the feeling behind them. Feeling makes the imaginary real. Have you ever had a dream so vivid, so full of emotion, that you woke up believing it was real? That is the power of feeling. Feeling convinces the mind. Feeling makes the imaginary real. When you imagine your desire fulfilled, you must not simply see the picture, you must enter the picture with feeling. If your desire is wealth, do not merely see stacks of money, feel the freedom of paying every bill with ease, the joy of buying what you want without hesitation, the relief of knowing you are secure. If your desire is love, do not simply see yourself with someone, feel the warmth of their embrace, the comfort of their presence, the joy of companionship. If your desire is health, do not merely picture yourself strong. Feel the energy rushing through your body, the ease of movement, the delight of being whole. Feeling transforms imagination from fantasy into reality. The magnetic power of feeling. Feeling is magnetic. It draws to you people, circumstances, and opportunities that match its vibration. Have you ever noticed that when you feel joyful, life seems to open doors, strangers smile, opportunities appear, everything flows. But when you feel fearful or anxious, even the simplest things seem to fall apart. This is not coincidence. This is law. Life mirrors feeling. If you wish to change your world, change the way you feel. Not tomorrow, not when circumstances change, but now. An example of feeling at work. Let me share a story with you. A young man once came to me desperate to find work. He had written countless applications, attended interview after interview, but nothing came of it. He said, I don't know what else to do. I asked him, what do you feel when you apply for these jobs? He paused and said, I feel nervous. I feel desperate. I feel like I am begging. And I told him, that is exactly why you are rejected. The world does not respond to your words. It responds to your feeling. You may say you want work, but if you feel like a beggar, life will treat you as one. Change the feeling, and the facts will change. So I instructed him to stop begging in his imagination. Instead, every night before sleep, he was to imagine shaking hands with an employer, hearing the words, congratulations, you are hired. Most importantly, he was to feel the pride, the joy, the relief of already being employed. Within a few weeks, he received an offer. He told me, it was as if the moment I felt it real, the world arranged itself to deliver it. And I told him exactly, feeling is the secret ingredient. Enter imagination quietly. Close your eyes, relax your body, and silence your thoughts. Choose your scene. Pick a short, simple scene that implies your desire fulfilled. Engage all senses. See it, hear it, touch it. But most of all, feel it. Saturate the feeling. Let gratitude, relief, joy, and certainty flood you. Carry it into sleep. Fall asleep in that state, so it sinks into the subconscious. If you practice this faithfully, you will discover that feeling is not hard to generate. It may begin as imagination, but with repetition the feeling grows stronger, more natural, more real. And when the feeling becomes natural, manifestation is inevitable. Why some fail to manifest? Many people come to me and say, I tried to imagine, but it didn't work. When I ask them, did you feel it? They confess, no, I only thought it. That is the difference. Thought alone is powerless. Thought clothed in feeling is creation. Do not approach imagination like a lifeless rehearsal. Approach it with emotion, with intensity, with conviction. Let your heart be moved by it. Let your body respond to it. Let yourself smile, laugh, even weep with joy if the scene demands it. The deeper the feeling, the faster the result. So my friends, remember this. Feeling is the secret ingredient. Do not merely think your desire, feel it. Do not merely see your desire, feel it. Do not merely speak your desire, feel it. For it is not what you say, not what you think, not even what you imagine that life responds to. It is what you feel. So tonight, when you close your eyes, clothe your desire in feeling. Make it alive within you. Feel the relief, the joy, the gratitude of already having it. Carry that feeling into sleep, and the unseen world will carry it into form. Feeling is the power. Feeling is the bridge. Feeling is creation itself. 5. Live from the wish fulfilled. When you begin to truly understand the power of feeling, you realize that the greatest shift you can make is this. Stop living toward your desire and start living from it. There is a world of difference between the two. Living towards something means you are always chasing, always reaching, always hoping that one day it will arrive. You place your dream far out on the horizon, and with each step you take, it remains just as distant. But living from it means you already occupy the state. You stand at the destination in consciousness. And from that point, everything in your outer world rearranges to mirror your inner position. Imagine this clearly. There is a vast difference between saying, I will one day be successful, and saying within yourself, I am successful now. One is a pursuit. The other is a possession. One is a chase. The other is a claim. To live from the wish fulfilled is to claim it boldly, to feel it fully, to let your every thought, word, and action flow from the reality of already having it. The power of identity. Your world always reflects who you believe you are. If you continue to see yourself as someone trying to reach success, trying to attract love, trying to gain wealth, then life will continue to give you circumstances that confirm you are still trying. But when you shift your identity, when you say, I am the one who has already received it, then life bends to reflect that. Living from the wish fulfilled is the art of embodying the identity of your desire right now. You wear it as naturally as a garment. You speak from it, you walk from it, you breathe from it. You do not ask, when will it come? Because in your feeling, it already has. Walking as the one who already is. Ask yourself this. If you had already received the thing you desire, how would you walk into a room? How would you speak to others? How would you carry yourself? How would you treat your mornings, your evenings, your daily tasks? When you live from the wish fulfilled, you answer those questions not with imagination alone, but with action infused with feeling. You begin to carry yourself as the one who already has. You begin to let your tone, your posture, your choices reflect the state of accomplishment. This is not pretending. This is alignment. Pretending is shallow, but alignment is deep. Pretending says, I hope no one sees through this mask. Alignment says, this is who I am, and the world will see it in due time. Feeling before seeing, your mind may try to resist. It may say, but I don't see it yet. How can I act as if? Remember this. The outer follows the inner. You must feel it before you see it. The world of appearances lags behind the world of feeling. Just as a seed lies buried before the harvest, so your inner feeling must be planted and nurtured long before it blossoms outwardly. Living from the wish fulfilled means you water the seed daily with feeling, Not with worry, not with doubt, but with quiet conviction that it is already yours. Practical application. Here is how you practice it. When you wake in the morning, instead of rushing into the day with the identity of lack, pause and ask, if my desire were already a fact, how would I rise today? Feel it. If it is wealth you desire, rise as the one who is already wealthy. If it is love you desire, rise as the one who is already loved. If it is success, rise as the one who already stands victorious. Carry that feeling with you through the day. As you walk, walk as the one who has already achieved. As you speak, speak as the one who already knows. Let your inner conversation reflect the accomplished state. Say to yourself in silence, this is who I am now. Persisting in the state. The world may try to contradict you. It may still show the signs of the old state. But do not be fooled. These are simply echoes of your past feelings, shadows of your former assumptions. Continue to live from the new state. Persist in it until it becomes natural, until you no longer need to remind yourself, until it feels effortless. There comes a moment when the new feeling overtakes you, when it feels stranger to doubt than to believe, when it feels unnatural to hope and natural to know. That is when you are firmly established in the state. From there, the manifestation is inevitable. The joy of already being. There is joy in this practice. There is freedom in it. No longer are you waiting for the world to grant you permission to feel worthy, successful, or loved. You grant it to yourself now. You live as the one who already is. This is not arrogance. This is truth. This is not delusion. This is alignment. You are aligning with the reality that already exists in the unseen, calling it forth through the power of feeling. Closing of step 5. So I say to you tonight, stop living toward your dream and begin living from it. Stop chasing and start claiming. Walk in the feeling of already being the one you desire to be. Every moment you live from the wish fulfilled, you are declaring to life itself, this is who I am now. And life, without hesitation, without resistance, will reflect it back to you in undeniable form. Live from it. Feel from it. Be it now. 6. Persist until it hardens into fact. The secret is not in wishing, not in trying, not even in imagining once or twice. The secret is in persistence. For what you persist in, what you hold to within your inner world, what you return to again and again in feeling, must in time harden into fact. Many people give up too quickly. They plant the seed of desire but refuse to water it with steady conviction. They imagine once, they feel once, and then when the world does not instantly respond, they abandon the vision. But the world is not slow. It is precise. It reflects not a single fleeting thought, but the state you consistently occupy. Persistence is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. It is the discipline of holding to your inner reality when the outer reality dares to contradict you. Why persistence matters. Understand this. Your senses are loyal servants, but they are not masters. If you live only by what your eyes see and your ears hear, you will forever remain trapped in the cycle of appearances. But when you persist in the unseen, when you cling to the feeling of already having your desire, even when the evidence around you screams otherwise, you are training your senses to follow the command of your spirit. The world cannot resist a mind that refuses to yield. The outer conditions must bow to the inner persistence. For what you accept and sustain within eventually takes form without. The test of faith. There will be moments when doubt rises. There will be times when the old reality still appears. These are not signs of failure. They are the testing ground of your faith. Will you abandon your vision at the first contradiction? Or will you hold to it until the contradiction dissolves? Persistence is faith in action. Faith is not mere hope. Faith is the unwavering knowing that your inner reality is more true than what appears before you. Faith does not ask when or how. Faith simply stands in the conviction. It is already mine. How to persist practically? You may ask, but how do I persist? How do I hold to the feeling when the world tells me the opposite? Let me give you the way. Return to the end daily, morning and night. Close your eyes and return to the scene that represents the fulfillment of your desire. Feel it again and again until it becomes natural, until it feels more real than the outer world. Guard your inner conversations. Watch the words you speak within. Are you saying it has not happened yet? Or are you saying it is mine now? Your inner speech reveals your true persistence. Speak always from the accomplished state. Refuse to entertain the old state. When old doubts arise, when circumstances tempt you to believe the opposite, do not wrestle with them. Simply turn away in silence and return to your chosen feeling. Do not argue with shadows. Shine the light of your conviction instead. Celebrate small echoes. At first you may notice little shifts. Small hints that the world is bending to your assumption. Do not dismiss them, celebrate them, for they are signs of the seed breaking through the soil. The power of repetition. Repetition creates naturalness. At first, the new state may feel like effort. It may feel like pretending, but with repetition, it becomes effortless. What once felt strange becomes familiar. What once felt impossible becomes natural. And when a state feels natural, it must externalize. Think of this. When you first learned to walk, it felt unstable. When you first learned to speak, your words wobbled. But through repetition, walking became natural. Speaking became effortless. So it is with your inner state. Persist, and soon the new identity becomes your second nature. Do not measure the time. Many fail because they measure the time. They say, it has been days, weeks, months, and still nothing has changed. But time is the servant, not the master. The outer manifestation arrives not by your calendar but by your conviction. A farmer does not dig up the seed every day to see if it is growing. He waters it, trusts the process, and knows that in its season it must appear. So too must you. Do not dig up your desire with worry. Water it with persistence. In due season, it will bear fruit. Living as though it were already done. Persistence is not straining. It is not forcing. It is quiet, steady, consistent conviction. It is the choice moment by moment to live as though it were already done. When you persist, you no longer run from doubt. You rise above it. You no longer fear delay. You know delay is only the shadow of your impatience. You no longer wonder if you simply know it is done. This is persistence, a gentle but unshakable knowing that refuses to bow to appearance. Stories of persistence within you. Think back on your life. Every accomplishment you hold today came because you persisted. There were moments when it seemed impossible, when others doubted you, when obstacles appeared immovable, yet something in you held on. And because you persisted, you stand today with victories that once seemed distant. Now take that same persistence and apply it inwardly. If you can persist in labor, in study, in struggle, you can persist in imagination, in feeling, and the rewards of inner persistence far surpass any outer toil. So I tell you this tonight. Persist until it hardens into fact. Do not bow to appearances. Do not surrender your vision to doubt. Do not abandon the seed because the harvest has not yet come. Hold to it. Return to it. Live in it. And when the world rises to challenge your conviction, smile and know these are only the fading echoes of the old state. They have no power over you. For if you will persist, if you will remain steadfast in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, then nothing in heaven or earth can stop it from hardening into fact. Persistence is the law. Persistence is the bridge. Persistence is the guarantee. Stand firm in it, and you will see your desire clothed in flesh. 7. Live from the end, not toward it. The greatest mistake most people make is this. They live toward their desires, not from them. They set their goals as if they were distant mountains, and they say to themselves, one day I will climb, one day I will reach, one day I will have. But the secret of creation is not to journey toward the summit. It is to live as though you are already standing upon it. Living from the end means you no longer wait, you no longer chase, you no longer hope. You rest in the knowing that it is done. You walk, you speak, you think, you breathe from the place of fulfillment. You become the version of yourself who already has what you desire, and the world bends itself to match that version. The trap of chasing. Many of you live your life in pursuit, always running after something, always stretching your hand into the future. But if you are chasing, you are declaring you do not yet have. And if you declare you do not yet have, the world must confirm it. Living from the end breaks this cycle. It says, I already am, I already have, I already live in the state of my desire. And when this becomes your natural dwelling place, the outer world can do nothing but rearrange itself to reflect. What it means to live from the end. To live from the end is to shift identity. You are no longer the one in search of wealth. You are wealthy. You are no longer the one longing for love. You are loved. You are no longer the one seeking freedom. You are free. Living from the end is not pretending, not wishing. It is identification. It is the assumption of a new self. Imagine yourself as an actor on the stage. The moment you step into a role, you carry its mannerisms, its tone, its posture. You live as the character, and the audience believes it. So too must you live as the version of yourself who already embodies your desire. The world is your audience, and it will accept the role you persist in playing. How to practice living from the end? Let me show you the way. Select one simple moment that would naturally take place if your desire were fulfilled. It might be a friend congratulating you, a loved one embracing you, a bank statement with the number you dreamed of. That scene is your anchor. Step into it fully. Close your eyes and enter that scene as though it is happening now. Feel the textures, hear the sounds, see the details. Most importantly, feel the inner satisfaction, the relief, the gratitude, the joy that comes from knowing it is done. Carry it into your day. When you open your eyes, do not leave that feeling behind. Walk into the world carrying it. Let your words, your posture, your inner dialogue be guided by it. If doubt whispers, return to your scene. Respond from fulfillment. When challenges arise, do not react as the old self. Ask yourself, how would I respond if I already had what I desired? Then respond from that place. The naturalness of the end. The key is naturalness. When you live from the end long enough, it ceases to feel like effort. It becomes normal. Just as a new home, at first unfamiliar, becomes comfortable with time. So your assumed state becomes your natural dwelling. And once it is natural, manifestation is inevitable. The world is a mirror. It reflects not your fleeting wishes, but your settled sense of being. When you settle into the end, the mirror cannot resist. It must show you what you have assumed yourself to be. The error of waiting. Waiting is a subtle declaration of lack. When you say, I am waiting for my desire, you are secretly affirming that it is not yet yours. But when you live from the end, there is no waiting. There is only enjoying. There is only the quiet confidence that what is real within must appear without. Do not wait for the letter. Know it has already been delivered. Do not wait for the promotion. Know you are already in the new role. Do not wait for the healing. Know that wholeness is your present reality. This is the essence of living from the end. The inner cause creates the outer effect. Every change in your life begins with an inner shift of identity. If you want to change your finances, change the way you see yourself financially. If you want to change your relationships, change the way you see yourself relationally. The cause is always within. When you live as the version of yourself who already has, the cause is set and the effect must follow. The law does not fail. It cannot. A simple example. Imagine a man who longs for freedom. In his current state, he feels trapped by circumstance. He works in a job he dislikes. His debts weigh him down, and he says, one day I will be free. But this man never becomes free because his identity is bound in waiting. Now imagine the same man decides to live from the end. Each night he imagines himself walking in his garden at noon, free from obligations, feeling the sun on his face. Each morning he rises with a lightness, speaking and acting as though freedom is already his. Slowly opportunities arise. Debts dissolve. Doors open. Why? Because the man did not live toward freedom. He lived from it. Faith in action. Living from the end is the purest expression of faith. Faith does not beg. Faith does not wait. Faith does not plead with the world to change. Faith declares, it is already done. Faith lives from the end, knowing the end will call forth its own path. The path may be hidden now, but it unfolds step by step as you persist. The how is not your concern. The end contains the how within it. So tonight I tell you, stop chasing, stop waiting, stop living toward the dream. Step into it now, occupy it now, speak from it now, live from the end, and the end will rush to meet you. The world has no choice but to reflect the self you insist upon being. If you can live from the fulfilled state, long enough for it to become natural, you will discover the great secret. You are never journeying toward your desires. You are only awakening to the fact that they were yours all along. Live from the end, and let the world bow to your assumption. 8. Assume the feeling until it hardens into fact. Everything in life responds not to what you say with your lips, but to what you feel with your heart. With your thought, with your heart, with your thought, then really are empty. Thoughts without emotion are shadows. The creative power of your imagination is activated only when your assumption is clothed in feeling. This is the great secret. Assumption without feeling is a passing daydream. Assumption with feeling becomes a seed planted in fertile soil. And once planted, it must grow. The power of feeling. Let me remind you, the universe does not hear your words, it feels your vibration. You can say, I am wealthy, I am loved, I am free, 1,000 times, but if within you still feel lack, loneliness or bondage, then those feelings, not your words, are the commands the universe obeys. But if you assume a state and allow yourself to feel it deeply as though it were already real, then you impress it upon the unseen reality. You impregnate the invisible with your desire, and in time, it must be born into the visible world. How assumption works? Assumption is identification. Feeling is the glue. Together they create certainty. When you assume something and attach feeling to it, you collapse all alternatives into one outcome. You say, this is who I am, this is what is true, and your inner conviction forces the world to mirror it. Have you not noticed how, when you believe something with all your heart, the world seems to conspire to confirm it? Even if at first it appears impossible, soon little evidences appear, doors open, and people arrive to play their parts. This is no accident. This is the law at work. The error of empty repetition. Many people fall into the trap of repetition without conviction. They repeat affirmations like a parrot, thinking the mere sound of words will change their lives. But repetition without feeling is mechanical. It is like sowing seeds on stone. Nothing takes root. Feeling is the water that nourishes the seed. Feeling is the breath of life that awakens the word. Without it, your affirmations are lifeless. With it, they become unstoppable. The art of assuming the feeling. So how do you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled? Let me give you the process. Enter a state of stillness. Quiet the mind. Turn away from the noise of the day. Relax your body until it feels heavy, almost asleep. Choose a simple imaginal scene. Select a short, vivid moment that would naturally follow your fulfilled desire. For example, if you seek wealth, it might be holding a check in your hand. If you seek love, it might be the warmth of your partner's embrace. Step into it with feeling. Do not merely see it, feel it. Let the emotion of completion wash over you. Feel the pride, the joy, the gratitude. Feel the relief of having it done. Persist until it feels natural. At first it may feel like make-believe, but persist. Night after night, return to the scene. Soon it will stop feeling like imagination and start feeling like memory. That is the moment the seed is planted. Carry it into your day. As you rise, do not abandon the feeling. Walk through your day as one who already has. Speak as though it were true. Act from that place. Why? Feeling is the secret bridge. Feeling is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. It takes what exists only in your imagination and translates it into the vibration of your being. And once your being radiates it, life has no option but to reflect it back. You can deceive others with words, but you cannot deceive life. Life responds to what you are, not what you say. And what you are is revealed by what you feel. A living example. Consider a woman who longs for love. She spends her nights affirming, I am loved, I am cherished, I am desired. Yet inside she feels lonely, and so despite her words, she continues to attract situations that mirror her inner lack. But if that same woman quiets herself, imagines the tender touch of a partner's hand, feels the warmth of companionship, allows herself to bask in the joy of being adored, then suddenly she carries a new energy. Strangers smile at her, opportunities to connect appear. Why? Because she assumed the feeling, and the feeling hardened into fact. Do not wait for evidence. Here lies the great test. Can you feel it before it shows itself? Most people demand proof. They say, I will believe when I see it. But life works in reverse. You will see it because you believed it first. The world is only a mirror. To wait for evidence is to remain in lack. To feel it now without evidence is to command the evidence to appear. Persisting in the feeling. The seed does not sprout the instant you plant it. It must rest in the soil, unseen while it gathers strength. So too must your assumption. You may not see immediate change, but do not abandon your feeling. Persist. Return to it in the quiet moment. Live in it until it feels natural. Soon the world will bend. Soon the facts will rearrange. And when they do, you will realize it was your inner assumption all along that shaped them. When doubt arises, do not be surprised if doubt tries to creep in. Doubt is the old self fighting for survival. When it whispers, it is not real, do not wrestle with it. Return to your feeling. Remind yourself, this is already mine. The more you return to the feeling, the weaker doubt becomes, until one day it vanishes entirely, and you are left with the quiet certainty of fulfillment. Closing of step 8. So I say to you tonight, assume the feeling until it hardens into fact. Let your desire become more than a wish. Let it become an inner reality so vivid, so felt, that the world cannot resist it. The unseen is more real than the seen. The invisible is the womb of creation. Plant your seed there, water it with feeling, nurture it with persistence, and when the time is right, you will hold in your hands what you once held only in imagination. Remember this truth. You do not wait for the fact to feel it. You feel it until it becomes. 9. Enter fully into the imaginal scene. Tonight I want you to understand the power of imagination, not as a pastime, not as wishful thinking, but as the very gateway to reality. The imaginal scene is not mere fantasy, it is the laboratory of creation, and the moment you enter it fully, feeling every detail as real, you set the unseen in motion and command the outer world to respond. Most people imagine in fragments half-heartedly and wonder why nothing changes. They see a picture, briefly smile, then drift back to the world of their senses. That is why their desires remain unmanifested. They touch the seed but refuse to plant it in the soil of feeling. Entering fully into the imaginal scene means committing yourself wholly. It means surrendering to the imaginal scene, means committing yourself wholly. It means surrendering to the inner reality until it becomes more compelling than the outer reality. It is no longer a rehearsal. It is life itself. The nature of the imaginal scene. The imaginal scene is a moment, a short, vivid, and believable instance that implies the fulfillment of your desire. It might be a handshake that seals a deal, the sight of a check with the exact sum you need, the embrace of a loved one, or the simple piece of financial freedom. Do not scatter your imagination across 1,000 scenarios. Pick one scene, rich in sensory detail, and make it the stage upon which your desire already exists. The more alive it is to your senses, the more forceful it becomes in the unseen world. The role of feeling, remember, imagination without feeling is empty. You can picture a scene perfectly, yet if you feel nothing, you have done nothing. Feeling breathes life into your imagination. Feeling convinces the subconscious, which then orchestrates the outer world to match it. Step fully into the scene. Hear the sounds, feel the textures, smell the air, notice the light. Let your body respond as though the scene were happening right now. And most importantly, let your heart respond with the satisfaction, gratitude, and joy of fulfillment. Why many fail? Many fail because they enter the scene only halfway. They imagine that they hold doubt in reserve. They imagine, but they allow the outer world to contradict them. They imagine, but they do not feel. You cannot touch the invisible lightly and expect it to appear. You must saturate it with life. You must immerse yourself so completely that the scene feels more real than the reality of your senses. Only then does it become a cause that the world must respond to. Practical steps to enter fully. Choose one scene that naturally implies the fulfillment of your desire. Keep it brief and vivid. Complexity dilutes power. Engage all your senses. See it, hear it, touch it, smell it if possible. The more senses involved, the more real it becomes. Infuse it with feeling. Do not just think about it. Feel it as real. Let your emotions match the completion of your desire. Experience pride, gratitude, joy, relief, or love, whatever the scene demands. Repeat nightly. Do this especially before sleep. Your imagination is most potent in the twilight between waking and sleeping. Return to your scene with feeling until it saturates your subconscious. Carry it into your day. Let the inner conviction color your outer action. When faced with challenges, respond from the inner reality rather than the outer illusion. This is why entering fully into the imaginal scene is so powerful. The subconscious accepts the scene as truth and begins to orchestrate the conditions in the outer world to match it. It does not ask how or when. It does not question. It simply aligns your reality with what it has accepted as fact. This is the creative power that works silently, unseen, until the outer world finally reflects it. Overcoming contradictions. When you enter fully into the scene, contradictions will appear. The world will show signs of the old reality, delays, obstacles, opposing forces. This is natural, but do not allow them to shake your inner conviction. Return to your imaginal scene, feel it again, and continue. The contradictions are shadows of your past assumptions. Persist in the new reality, and the shadows dissolve. The world cannot resist a mind and heart fully aligned with its desire. The magnetic effect. When you live fully in the imaginal scene, you emit a vibration that draws corresponding circumstances and people to you. Opportunities appear where there were none. Connections form spontaneously. Doors open effortlessly. This is not coincidence. This is the law. The universe cannot resist the force of a mind fully committed to its inner reality. A story to illustrate. Consider a man who longed for a promotion. He worried about his current status, his boss's opinions, and the competition. But then he began to enter a simple imaginal scene every night. He saw himself receiving the congratulatory handshake, feeling pride and satisfaction, hearing the words, "You have earned this promotion." He returned to it night after night, fully feeling the reality of it. Within weeks, opportunities he had not foreseen appeared. His boss praised him unexpectedly. A position opened. The promotion was offered. It was as if the unseen had been waiting only for him to claim it fully. The key takeaway: enter fully into your imaginal scene. Do not skimp. Do not hesitate. Do not half imagine and half doubt. Immerse yourself in the inner reality until it feels more real than the outer. Feel it, live it, and let the subconscious work tirelessly to make it manifest. The power is not in the length of the scene, not in the quantity of imagination, but in the depth of feeling and the completeness of assumption. The world reflects what you insist upon in your inner world. So tonight I challenge you. Choose your scene, step into it fully, let it saturate your senses and emotions. Return to it night after night, live from it. In your waking hours, persist in the feeling until it becomes as natural as breathing. Enter fully into the imaginal scene and watch as the world conforms to your inner reality. The unseen bends, the impossible yields, and the life you imagine deeply and vividly emerges into your hand. 10. Persist in the feeling until it is fact. Here we arrive at the culmination, the final step in your journey of creation. Persistence until the unseen becomes seen, until the imagined becomes real, until the feeling you cultivate hardens into fact. This is the step that separates those who merely dream from those who manifest. All the knowledge, all the imagination, all the assumption in the world is meaningless without this final, unwavering dedication to the inner reality. Persistence is not a vague suggestion. It is not a motivational idea to be admired from a distance. Persistence is a law, a principle of creation, the invisible engine that carries your desires from the inner world to the outer. Without it, even the most vivid imaginal scene dissolves into nothing. With it, the impossible bends, and the universe rearranges itself to your inner conviction. The nature of persistence. Persistence is not forcing. It is not straining or worrying. It is the steady, continuous occupancy of the state of fulfillment. It is a quiet, unshakable knowing that your desire is already realized. Imagine planting a seed. You water it, not just once, not just twice, but consistently. You nurture it. You protect it from harsh winds. You return to it daily, confident that growth is occurring even if you cannot yet see it. The seed does not require your doubt or your questioning. It grows because you persist in providing it the right conditions. So it is with your inner assumptions. Persistence is the act of daily commitment to the state of the wish fulfilled, until it becomes so natural that it cannot fail. The misstep of impatience. Many fail here because they measure success by time. It has been weeks, they say. It has been months, and still I see nothing. And so they abandon the state, revert to old assumptions, and wonder why their desires remain unfulfilled. But manifestation is not dictated by the clock. It is dictated by the depth and consistency of your feeling. The law does not fail. Your inconsistency is the reason for delay. If you persist, if you remain faithful to the inner reality, the outer must obey. Do not let impatience shake you. Do not let fleeting circumstances dictate your inner conviction. Stand firm, and the unseen will eventually reveal itself as fact. Returning to the feeling daily. Persistence is maintained through daily practice. Begin each day by re-entering your imaginal scene. Feel it fully, as if it is happening now. Saturate it with the emotions of gratitude, relief, joy, and satisfaction. Before sleep, return once again to the scene. Let it be the last sensation your mind entertains as consciousness fades. This repetition is not ritual. It is the sculpting of reality itself. The subconscious, which does not distinguish between reality and vivid imagination, accepts the repeated feeling as truth. Once accepted, it orchestrates circumstances to match, responding from the fulfilled state. While you persist in feeling, do not live as though you are waiting. Respond to the world from the fulfilled state. Speak as one who has already arrived. Act as one who already possesses. When challenges arise, do not react from fear or doubt. Ask yourself, how would I act if my desire were already realized? Then act accordingly. Every action, every choice, every word that flows from the fulfilled state strengthens it. You are building a life that reflects your inner reality, brick by brick, moment by moment. The strength of quiet confidence. Persistence does not scream. It does not demand or plead. It quietly knows. It quietly assumes. There is a calmness in those who persist. A serenity that comes from knowing that the outcome is certain. This quiet confidence is magnetic. It draws to you people, opportunities, and circumstances aligned with your inner state. The world cannot resist it. The universe bends. Life rearranges. This is the power of steadfast feeling. Overcoming doubt and contradiction. As you persist, contradictions will appear. Life will reflect the old reality. Delays, setbacks, seeming failures. This is natural. These contradictions are only the shadows of your past assumption. They have no real power. Return to your feeling. Immerse yourself again in the inner reality. Know that the outer world will catch up in time. Persistence is the key that bridges the delay between inner assumption and outer manifestation. Stories of persistence in action. Think of the countless examples in your own life. Every skill you have mastered, every accomplishment you hold, required persistence. You did not achieve by trying once and giving up. You tried, failed, adjusted, and returned. You persisted. Now apply that same principle inwardly. Persist in the feeling of your desire until it is as undeniable as the breath in your lungs. Persist until it becomes natural. Persist until your inner state is so firm that the outer world must conform. The culmination of creation. This is the final step. The culmination of all previous steps. Imagination, feeling, assumption, and living from the end. When you persist in the feeling of your fulfilled desire, you align all forces of your being with the reality you have chosen. Your inner world and outer world converge. The invisible becomes visible. The imagined becomes fact. You become a master of your reality. Not by striving, not by struggling, but by steadfastly occupying the state of your fulfilled desire. The law works quietly, inevitably, and powerfully. Closing words of step 10. So my friends, hear this clearly. Do not give up. Do not allow appearances to shake you. Do not let time or circumstance dictate your belief. Persist in the feeling of your fulfilled desire. Return to it daily. Live from it in every moment. Saturated with joy, gratitude, and certainty. The moment you fully persist, the moment you assume the reality so completely that it feels as tangible as your breath, the world must yield. There is no power in the universe greater than the steadfast occupation of the fulfilled state. Persist until the imagined becomes fact. Persist until the unseen is seen. Persist until the desire you hold in your heart becomes your undeniable reality. You have learned the steps. You have practiced the feeling. You have assumed the end. Now persist, and the world, without question, will reflect the reality you have faithfully held within. The journey is complete. The power is yours. Persist and watch miracles unfold.